Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me today to this new episode of Music with Nick. Today, I'm gonna react to a song by Stanley Clarke, and this was a request by BMac. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And this is pretty much, BMac reached out to me and he's like, hey, guess what? I know a song that you don't know that has an Allan Holdsworth solo on it. And I think like I once went on this mission and because there's this really amazing list of everything he has ever done, like everything, every solo, like even though it's only one track. And I think I was able to like track it all down back in Mexico when you could still download without getting into trouble. And I think I have like on some hard drive I have all these tracks, with I mean all this Gianluc Ponti stuff, just guest solos and like a lot of work level 52 at 42 and Tony Williams and stuff like that. But here we have a track from Stanley Clarke, and I do remember for some reason I could have heard this maybe some 10, 12 years ago. This is called If This Bass Could Only Talk, and this is a solo album by Stanley Clarke, 1989. But there is a track here by where Holdsworth takes a guest solo, and hey, I think 1989. Is this? I'm sorry, it's 88. 88 was when Holdsworth was changing a little bit his tone. That's when I think his 90s albums are the best. I mean, is his best work like Secrets, Wardenclyffe Tower, or Wardenclyffe. I think I don't really know how to pronounce that, but um, Hardhead Area, all that stuff. I think a lot of people always talk about Soft Machine in UK, and no, that's amazing work, but that's not the Holdsworth that he wanted to be. Even his first solo album, he literally he hated it, because pretty much after Metal Fatigue, and um, and so forth, that's when he kind of like found his sound. And Sand, albums like Sand, um, yeah, check him out. But so that's why I'm like in 88 he already had this different sound and this different style, and he was just becoming very unique in his expression and all that stuff. So I'm super excited to do this. Stanley Clarke. This is Stories to Tell. This is the fourth song on the album. So let's listen to it. I will not, if I've heard this before, I'm not gonna remember. But I do remember this name because If This Bass Could Only Talk, I just remembered that. So, but yeah, here we go with the reaction. I hope you guys enjoy. All you, jazz fusion maniacs out there. I know not a lot of people are gonna watch this video, but I love that BMac is as nuts as me when it comes to jazz fusion. He's also a musician, a bass player with an amazing bass collection, and so it's just like, this is just music for musicians, I guess. I guess that's what it is. So here we go. Stories to Tell. And let's check out that guest solo by Mr. Holdsworth. So here we go. Stanley Clarke. god, what an entrance. I love the acrobatics that he does, and it's just always such a. There's always a story, you know. Yes, I know. Stories to tell is the song, but he basically there. And you know, I was so mad the other day because some like person who doesn't know anything about music was like, I posted a link in the guitar um poll, and we're talking about Holdsworth, you know, because like we're talking about all these amazing guitar players, and then he's like, "Oh, yeah, Holdsworth doesn't have any feeling. It's only, you know, like, are you like deaf or something? No feeling, only technique and speed, and there's nothing like, did you listen, did you hear this? And this is every solo he plays has such an amount of feeling and longing. Just listen to these notes. I mean, if these notes don't say something, it's almost like these beautiful bends, and he doesn't bend upwards, he bends with the whammy bar. But listen to this. I mean, listen. Even the pauses between the licks. I mean, even the pausing, even the quiet, you know, the silences are amazing because they give the solo more meaning. I mean, just listen to it. Beautiful palm muting here. Beautiful. That's what I love about Holdsworth. I love his tone, I love his technique, and yes, it's very technical. It's very, very hard to play, but trust me, if you learn a couple of scales, and if you like practice that legato, it gives you like a whole different, and obviously the scales he uses, it gives you like a whole different perspective of where you can go with the guitar. It's really, really difficult, and it's very intimidating, especially when you come from a rock background. To get into this music is very difficult. There's even an entire article of Guthrie Govan who's like, rock players should not go into fusion lighthearted. It's a rock. It's gonna be very, very difficult, you know. But like, that's why I always say my two favorite guitar players are Alan Holdsworth and David Gilmour. David Gilmour does it a different way. He bends, and he double and triple bends, and that's all about feeling. All of his solos, every solo that I've ever heard from, I guess from, you know, Wish You Were Here to now, like, you know, they're so amazingly well written, and they have so much to say, and there's so much feel in there. And that's what I loved about the first time I really listened to Alan Holdsworth. That's what I could hear. There was feeling in that playing. And yes, it's super like laser, like liquidy and stuff, you know, but that's just his technique. You know, he's a fan of John Coltrane and stuff like that. So he obviously wants to imitate, you know, a saxophone. And a saxophone, I mean, if you ever heard, you know, John Coltrane, it's lightning fast, and that's basically what he's doing. But he also has that the whammy bar, just like Jeff Beck. He uses that whammy bar as a tool to express feeling, and it almost sounds like he's almost like, you know, crying. You know, it's beautiful. um I highly recommend, if you like jazz fusion, if you like John McLaughlin, if you like a Weather Report, if you like all those bands that are listed, um listen to Alan Holdsworth. You know, give him, don't just like brush him off. Yeah, he played with Bill Bruford and UK and Soft Machine, and yeah, no, no, listen to his solo work. He is right there with Pat Metheny. He's right there in that same category. So it's just like, unfortunately, he didn't it's almost like he didn't want to be famous, you know? And it was just like that, you know. There's interviews where he's like, "Yeah, I don't like to play for musicians." He didn't like to play for people, for critics. He wanted to play just to people to listen, and he would always, and there's interviews as well where he's like, he was obsessed with always coming up with new ideas, not repeating scales, not repeating patterns and ideas. Just to do that is insane, because as a guitar player, you basically play what you know and you remember, and you have that memory on the fretboard. And just to go out of that and, you know, just improvise is insane. So again, thank you so much, BMEC. I hope you enjoyed this reaction, and I certainly enjoyed this wonderful solo. I'm gonna, you know, heart it, and so I can access to it as soon as I can. But yeah, I really want to look for that folder with all the stuff. There's some amazing solos that he played with an Italian guitar player. um, I might make a different video for that, because this one has been going on pretty long. But yeah, give him, you know, give him you know, a chance to come into your life, and he's it's really gonna be worth it. I thought I was listening to Pat Metheny, I was listening to McLaughlin, Al Di Meola, I was listening to so many guitar players, Stanley Jordan, and so many fusion players, Richie Kotzen and Greg Howe and Brett Garsett and Sean Lane, and then Frank Gambale, you know. But when I listened to Holdsworth for the first time, everything changed in my mind. It's just the way he plays, and the way he thinks, and the way he, like, his dialogue, his the way he talks with the guitar is just so different. And so I hope you know, give him another chance, instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, he was in UK and he played in Soft Machine and you know, and in the 70s." Like, check out his 80s work, his 90s work, his 2000 work. There's one of my favorite albums, 16 Men of Tane, 2002. Check it out. It's amazing. It's going to take you into the different stratosphere. All right. Thank you so much. I hope you did enjoy. If you liked the video, please do subscribe. Like the video if you can. And I'll see you in the next one.